Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Hallo-scream Spook-tacular. Written by Colin Hostin and Tomas Palacios. Illustrated by Michael Ryan and Chris Sotomayor. Based on the Marvel comic book series, Guardians of the Galaxy. Another day, another successful mission to save the galaxy, said Peter Quill. Being Star-Lord, the valiant leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy, was tiring. When exactly are we going to get a day off? Rocket asked. I think I'm starting to get too old for this. I am Groot, his long-limbed friend responded. Exactly, Rocket agreed. Life was so much simpler when we were kiddies, right? You were once a small cat? Drax asked, raising an eyebrow. Thanks to Thanos, my childhood was never simple, Gamora added. I always loved Halloween, Peter said. Dressing up like a pirate or a monster, I could be whatever I wanted, not to mention all the candy I could eat. The other Guardians stared blankly at Peter. You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you? He asked. Not a clue, Gamora replied. Snickers, Mars bars, Milky Way? Said Rocket, salivating. It sounds like candies of the galaxy. Yes, we even have ones that look like infinity stones. Ever heard of a ring pop? Groot raised his hand. I am Groot. No, not like tree rings, Rocket said. Ring pop. I am Groot. Close enough, Peter sighed. Drax grunted. I like the sound of candies of the galaxy. When can we go? Peter looked at his watch. Today is October 31st. If we leave now, we might make it in time to go trick-or-treating. Gamora set the Milano on a course for Earth. Galaxy candy, huh? This Halloween thing sounds quite strange. What do we wear? Oh, don't worry about that. These outfits can be our costumes. What about Groot? Rocket asked. He is a walking tree. Peter shrugged. I guess he'll just stump everyone. Get it? Because he's a tree. Rocket sighed. Let's just get there. The Guardians hid the Milano behind some trees and walked over to a sidewalk filled with trick-or-treaters. A space cowboy zoomed by with a laser gun, and a small ghost stuffed a lollipop in his mouth. A vampire cat walked by the Guardians and waved. Welcome to Springfield, New Jersey, said Peter. The houses were covered with all kinds of decorations, including jack-o'-lanterns and fake skeletons, howling ghosts and green-faced witches. What happened to that one? Rocket asked, pointing to a dark and scary-looking house at the end of the street. I don't know, Peter said with a smile. It must be haunted. Haunted, said Rocket, crossing his arms. You trying to scare me, Quill? We fought aliens with purple hands and goofy teeth. Nothing's gonna scare me. As Rocket finished, Drax snuck up behind him and playfully tickled him with a leaf. Rocket jumped as high as Groot's branches. Not funny, Drax! Wow, you do have cat-like reflexes, Drax replied. Forget the spooky house. When do we get to the candy? Drax asked. He was starting to get hungry. I'm glad you asked, my friend, Peter replied. They walked up to the first house. All we have to do is knock on this door and say trick or... Suddenly, Drax slammed his fist into the door, accidentally knocking it down, along with the surprised man in a cowboy costume on the other side. Treat? Peter smiled sheepishly and shrugged. Let's try that again. The Guardians quickly went to the second house. You've got the idea, Peter said, but just a little less energy this time, okay? He rang the bell, and they all yelled, trick or treat, when an old lady wearing a witch's hat answered. But before she could give each of them a piece of candy, Rocket grabbed the entire bag and ran. I got the candy! Come on! Rocket, no! Peter reached out to stop Rocket, but he wasn't fast enough. Thankfully, Groot was able to use his long arms to pluck up Rocket before he escaped with all the candy. Now, Rocket, let's not be greedy, Peter said. Take one piece and give the nice lady back the rest. Fine, Rocket said, but I'm taking 2 pieces. This is actually not so bad, Peter, Gamora said, unwrapping her candy bar as they walked to the next house. I think I might like this Halloween thing. Again, they rang the bell. This time, a man who looked like a skeleton opened the door. "Watch out! He's dangerous!" Gamora yelled, grabbing the man by his shirt and lifting him up. The other Guardians had to hold her back before she tossed him to the ground. "Sorry about that, sir," Peter said. "Nice, costume?" As they made their way to the next house, a group of costumed children walked up beside them. "Wow, your parents are really cool," a boy in a shark costume whispered to Rocket. "My parents never get so dressed up for Halloween." "Excuse me," Rocket said with attitude. "Exactly how old do you kids think I am?" They looked at each other and shrugged. 8? 9? A girl dressed as a dinosaur ballerina pulled on Rocket's whiskers. "You almost look like a real raccoon." Rocket jerked his head back. "Hey, I ain't no raccoon, kid." "Sorry," the girl said. "I'm Sam, and these are my friends, Colin, Ted, and Thomas." Rocket smoothed his whiskers. "I'm Rocket, and these are my friends Groot, Peter, and Gamora. That one over there," he pointed at Drax and sighed, "is my dad." "What?" Drax said. "How is this possible? I never even knew." Before Rocket could shush him, a dark, cold shadow stopped them all in their tracks. They had arrived at the haunted house. "This place gives me the creeps," Rocket said. "No kidding," Sam replied. "That's the old Carter mansion. People say it's haunted." "Haunted?" Peter laughed. "You don't really believe that, do you?" "Laugh if you want," Colin whispered. "All I know is that whoever enters never comes out, especially on Halloween." Sam looked around and realized someone was missing. "Oh no, where's Ted?" "I think he's in there," Thomas said in horror. "If Ted is in there, we have to go in and find him." Peter closed his fingers around his holstered element gun. "Besides, I want to see what all the fuss is about. Who's with me?" "I am Groot." "The tree is right, I think," Drax said. "We are heroes. We should help." "I'm in," said Gamora. They all turned to look at Rocket. Drax patted his shoulder. "Son?" All right. Let's go in already." The front door creaked open when Peter pushed it. The entrance led into a long, dark hallway with huge Victorian paintings lining the walls. "Somebody, please, help me!" "Quick," Gamora said. "Let's find the stairs." They followed the hallway to a steep spiral staircase. Peter looked up the steps, but all he could see was darkness, except for a flickering torchlight all the way at the top. Upstairs, Drax took the torch off the wall and held it up to light the entire room. Peter gasped. Holy moly! There were a number of glass cases lining each wall, but the items on display weren't scientific artifacts. They were human beings. Most were children, and all of them were wearing unique costumes. "There's Ted," Thomas said, pointing to a hot dog in one of the glass cases. Groot tapped on the glass, but the children seemed to be in some sort of suspended animation. "There's only one man I can think of who would do something like this," said Peter. "The Collector," Gamora said. "This has his stink all over it." Drax grunted sheepishly. "Sorry, that was me. I think I ate too much candy." "Gross," said Rocket. "Well, what are we standing around for? Let's go get the guy." He looked over at Sam. "Don't try this at home, kids." "This is definitely not how I remember Halloween," said Peter. "Okay, here's the plan." A few moments later, the door opened, and the Collector entered. The Guardians had already escaped. Well, what do we have here? Are you lost, little ones?" "We're just looking for our friend, mister," said Sam. "We think he came in here." "I'm sure I can help you find him," said the Collector. "I think I saw him just through these doors." As he turned to lead the children away, one of the figures on display jumped to life. It was Rocket! Trick or treat! The Collector tried to grab Sam, but then Drax jumped out of another case, followed by Gamora and Groot. "Give it up! You're surrounded!" Star-Lord emerged from a case with his element gun aimed at the Collector. "Whatever madness you're planning here is over." "Madness?" the Collector growled. I'm making a museum. A museum of Earth's costume masterpieces. Gamora tied him up while the rest of the Guardians freed the children. Halloween's not about museums, she shouted. It's about candy. I am Groot. Right, Groot, Rocket said, and ring pops. Peter looked at his watch. Halloween's not over yet, and I know exactly how we should celebrate. The Guardians and their new friends made the short trip to New York for the annual Halloween parade. Their costumes were the biggest hit with the crowd. Wow, that's the most lifelike raccoon I've ever seen, someone said. How many times do I have to say it? I ain't no raccoon!